Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the car in the air and properly and safely place it on jack stands. Okay, so over here on the driver's side, I've lifted up on that nice beam that goes through there, and I lifted farther back there so that we can place a jack stand here at the front. I'm going to go ahead and lower the jack down onto the jack stand, and we just want to have that cradling that beam. Now we're going to move to the other side of the car and do the same thing. Okay, so now I'm on the driver's side. I did the same thing, just lifted a little bit farther back, and I have both these jack stands properly put here on these beams. Just make sure when you're lifting one side, and for example when you're lifting the driver's side like this, you want to keep your eye on that passenger side one as you're lifting it so it doesn't tip over and drop the car. But just make sure that these are both properly and safely here, and make sure that you just leave your jack here if you want as an extra precaution. From inside the car, just pop the hood. Next, from underneath the car, we're going to take off this panel. And so we're just going around taking all these 10mm bolts out. We're going to just go all the way around and remove this whole panel from the car. And took off these 4 10mm nuts on the top of this engine cover.
Okay, so this is your oil pan for your engine oil. And as you come back here, this is the transmission pan. Okay, and it has this 19mm drain plug right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off and drain everything out of here. The car's already up in the air, the nose of the car's in the air, so it's going to drain out real nice. Just make sure you do not strip this, otherwise you'll have to take the whole pan off, and that'll be fun. So we're going to go ahead and very carefully break this loose and catch all of the fluid in a pan, put this back on, and then just fill it to the factory recommended level of how many quarts it takes, and that way we're not guessing anything, we don't lose the transmission in this process. Okay, that was a little nerve-wracking just because on other cars I know that these break often, but I went ahead and broke this loose. Have my drain pan here. We're just going to go ahead and drain this transmission fluid. Alright, so we're going to go buy all new fluid and fill it to capacity, and I'll show you where you add it. Okay, to help it drain a little bit better, we're taking the dipstick out, which is where we're actually going to fill this new fluid in. So it's a 10mm bolt here that I already broke loose. Just don't drop it down in there. Move that out of the way. Then you can pull the dipstick up. Okay, so we're not going to pull this all the way out right now. Just want to make sure that it's going to drain a little bit better with this cap lifted off. Okay, it's pretty well all drained out. We're going to put our drain plug back in. Make sure you still have that copper washer on there. And we're going to go ahead and put this in and tighten it. Do not over tighten it and break it, or you're in a world of trouble. Okay, it looks a little dirty there, but we put that back in and it's nice and tight. We're going to go ahead and add more of the new transmission fluid through the dipstick. Okay, so I ran over to the dealership and they were very happy to sell me some transmission fluid. This is what these cars have. It's this Nissan Matic S. Apparently it replaced the Matic J, but it's interchangeable from everything I've seen. The car lost about 5 quarts, so that's what I'm going to put back in it. And basically all we're going to do here, remember the drain plugs back in. We took out this bolt here and lifted the dipstick out. Get it all the way out here. So we're just going to get a funnel and we're going to pour it into the dipstick area right here. And that's how you fill the transmission fluid. So we're just going to go all 5 quarts right now. Alright, so here we go. Pouring it in using a funnel. Then you can let it sit like that for a minute or two to drain out for each one if you have the patience. Okay, so we've put all 5 quarts is what we added to this one in. We're going to go ahead and put this dipstick back down in here. And I'm not going to completely tighten and close it yet. I'm going to lower the car down so it's level, and then if any air needed to escape, that'll happen. Then we'll finish tightening that down. And we're going to turn the car on, just put it in neutral, let it run for a minute, and put it into drive, put it into neutral, put it into reverse, let all the fluid get back where it needs to be. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and with our jack, we're going to lift up on the car and remove the jack stands, put the car back down on the ground. Alright. Now you're going to go ahead and just put the car into neutral, put it into reverse, back into neutral, back into drive. Just go through the gears like that a little bit to get the pump primed up. And okay. Okay, so we put our dipstick down in here and tighten this 10mm bolt again. We'll check that fluid level a little bit later too. Okay, so I just got back from a test drive. Got it real warm. Everything's good, no leaks. Okay, engine cover's back on. It was just the, you have 2 nuts here at the top, 2 bolts here at the back. Just line it up and tighten them all down.